Scented thrills for your soul's delight. Hey! Whoa. Hey! Hit it! Matt Junior's on rock and roll. Matt Junior's on rock and roll.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. We got a full house today. Everybody and their dog is here. And you know, sometimes that's just an expression. But in our case,
it's true.
It's real. And here's Ollie. He's helping with the computer engineering on my part. Ryan's got Pickles over there helping her out. And we'll talk to the other guests. We have guests today. Cool people. They're here. I don't know how I talked them into being here, but they're here. And we're going to talk to them in just a minute. We'll be back. Oh yeah, I guess I ought to run a commercial. Let's do atheism today. Who wants to be an atheist? Have you looked into being an atheist? Do you know what it? There it is.
Life is complicated. These are trying times. There are many questions that need answering. Want to know what's going to help? Atheism. With atheism, you'll get rid of dogma, superstitions, and toxic thought patterns that are holding you back. You can drive while taking atheism, as well as use heavy machinery. In fact, drinking alcohol, fornicating, and Sunday mornings are far more enjoyable with atheism. However, there are side effects. Some evangelicals and fundamentalists will think you're possessed by the devil. But you don't have to worry, because you know the devil isn't real. Just like God. Wake up to your life. Believe in yourself. Believe in science.
Well, hello, everyone. Look at all these wonderful people I have found. Look at all these atheist people. Yay. Or, you know, skeptical, non-theist people. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, Darante isn't here yet. He's running a little behind. I've heard he has a little behind. I'm not really sure how that works. I haven't seen the full video, but he's running a little. He's running a little behind. Anyway, but look at that shirt, Bill. This
great shirt
Jesse Bear gave me.
Oh, that's the one Jesse Bear gave. Awesome
yeah.
sauce.
And then her daughter gave me, I think it was the little pin that says resist. Yes, it says resist. So
resist. Awesome.
Yeah, so I wanted to honor them
Very
today.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that very much. You know, we've got a lot of people in the chat. Before I go on with you guys, I'm going to just say hello to everybody in the chat real quick, or as many as I can. Cam Bam, cool name. I don't recognize the name. Maybe. My cannabis-infused brain is thinking maybe I recognize, but I don't know. Good morning, Cam Bam. Jeanette's boxing channel. Trina, good morning, Trina. It is a full house. All the cool kids are here this morning.
Yes.
Giles is here. Really is here. Mark Reed is here. Miss Non-Secular, Simply Secular Dave. Wow, look at all these kids. And Raven Lunatic. Oh, my goodness. I thought I smelled something. Good morning, Raven. Thank you for joining us. Obi Atheist is here. All you cool kids. Man, that's fantastic. Hernan Jose, good morning. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Man, and the shaken fist. We can't forget the shaken fist. So good morning, everyone. Look at that. Deconstruction Zone is in the house.
Hey, Justin.
Let's see what's going on with Justin. You know,
yes.
That's awesome. If you don't mind, there's some people that everybody knows me and Ryan because we're always here. You know, can't get rid of us. But let's start with Justin, and we'll work our way around.
Tell us about yourself.
And well, yeah. And so, Justin, tell us about yourself. What's going on, man? Introduce yourself.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on, Chris, and Rihanna, we appreciate it. So I'm kind of one of the new kids on this scene. I mostly just debate Christians nowadays. I thought when I started YouTube and TikTok that I'd be having intellectual conversations with people that are curious to learn more about the Bible and its many problems through deconstruction. And it turned out that Christians only want to argue and debate. So that's basically all I do nowadays, but I have fun doing it. And I love watching channels like the Damn Network. I love watching the Apostate Sisters. And actually I already knew Rion from TikTok before I started doing stuff on YouTube. Really? So I'm happy to be hanging out with people I appreciate.
Wow. Awesome. That is wonderful. You know, I'm trying to learn the TikTok. It doesn't like me very much. I post things TikTok doesn't like.
The strange world.
Yeah, it's a weird place. You have to watch your P's and Q's.
You
It
really
is.
do.
It is.
You have to know how to speak the lingo in order to get around the algorithm.
Yeah. I got banned for doing the puke emoji once. So
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I've the same. I've gotten issues for just putting an emoji. Or quoting the person, like what the person said sarcastically, like, and then laughing, like, "Oh my God, that was so funny!" And then they've made it like I said. I'm like, "No, that was
Really?
yeah.
okay." Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no.
I in the batch of commercials that you got, Deacon Justin, I didn't add the fascism commercial because whenever I was trying to stream to YouTube, I would run that commercial. It's a parody commercial, of course, or not YouTube, but TikTok. When I was trying to stream to TikTok, I get this little notification going, "We don't like this content," and it would shut the stream down. Or I'd suddenly, the first few times, I was getting like hundreds of viewers and people. It was fantastic. I was like, "Man, TikTok may be my place." But just after I played that commercial, from then on, it would shut down my stream, and then after, I just couldn't play that one little commercial. So,
it's very hard to stream there.
Have you guys noticed any difference between before there was that weird moment when it, went down, and then all of a sudden our great leader, like, somehow magically raised it from the dead? Was there a difference in how it functioned before and after that you noticed?
I think that if I'm being very blunt and honest, I think the difference came when Palestine started happening. I think the algorithm got very smart very quickly, and that's when a lot of things changed. I think they realized they had to start controlling information. That's my opinion.
All right.
I also see
algorithm. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You know more about it than I do.
The TikTok algorithm changes quite often. So like as soon as you think you know it, it changes and then you don't know it. So it's not as predictable as YouTube. So it's like, I have no idea what TikTok's going to do in the future. I don't even know what it's going to do tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's true.
All righty then.
I just never have had any luck with it. Either one of them, myself. Let's move on real quick to Patti and say hi, Patti, because we're going in that.
Oh yeah. What do I need to say? What's the icebreaker?
Who are you? Where'd you come from? Take us to your leader.
Oh, who am I? I'm one half of the Apostate Sisters. I'm the older sister. Yeah. So
The mean one, according to Nancy.
It's probably true.
She's a bully.
Yes, indeed. No, Nancy and I grew up in a cult called the Worldwide Church of God. And during the pandemic, we went for lots of walks. I live in Oregon. She lives in Illinois. And we'd be on the phone talking about whatever sisters talk about. And then we're like, oh, we keep coming back to this topic of the messed up way we got raised in the cult. And we're like, maybe we should do a thing. Because we had kind of said, like, let's write a book. Or, we were going to do like the awful Bible stories and make it look like a kid's book, that kind of thing we had in mind.
Yeah.
But this turned out to be the thing. And so we just started talking and putting out audio episodes. And then Godless Granny was like, hey, why don't you come on my show? And we were like, okay, I guess we can do that. What's that?
Shout out to Kelly.
Yay. Yeah, isn't Kelly the greatest?
Amazing. The interview that you guys did, please go watch it with Godless Granny. Very very moving.
Thank you. Oh, yes, that was our second interview with her, actually. We have one just kind of vanilla interview, and then we did do one more recently where she talked about the dark years of her marriage, and very open and
very open. I was like, okay, y'all are going there. Okay.
I know. And you know what? Like, looking at monetization stuff, like, it was fine. Oh, I mean, I had to limit because of the little section at the end where we showed Granny toys. But other than that, like,
you guys go watch it.
At first, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. There's video. No, go ahead.
Yes. So thank you for that shout out of our Granny episode.
Awesome.
We felt really honored by that because Granny came to us and said, "This is a story I want to tell, and I would feel safe to tell it on your show." So,
awesome.
Pretty freaking cool. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Nancy, what about you? Do you have any? I mean, we know the Apostate Sister. I guess it's kind of the same story.
Same story, but I can give you a little background on
There you go.
the doomsday cult we were raised in, which is actually a little bit similar to Ryan Cultastic's background here.
Sounds like it.
Your videos, Ryan, and we had the same sorts of feelings, like the cloud over the head, very restrictive, very fundamentalist, very legalistic. It was
Punitive.
yes. The
Oh,
lingering traumas were one of the reasons that we started our channel, because Patti and I, we just kept talking. I'm like, why? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? And we realized it was reactatory to what was going on in the cult. I'm like, oh, these are lingering traumas that we didn't know were here. We can't possibly be the only ones. And so Worldwide Church of God was started in like the 1930s by a man named Herbert W. Armstrong.
Herbert.
Yeah, he
Just said pervert. Herbert the pervert. I mean,
Herbert's the pervert.
It's a classic.
it just works.
to any Herberts out there watching the show,
Oh.
she's not talking to you.
Hi, friend.
Any Herberts out there, she may be talking to you.
I've put that in the show before. I'd be like, this is the other Herbert the pervert. Yes. Yeah, there were all sorts of scandals surrounding this man, because there always are, you know,
Indeed.
rumors about him touching his own child. Our parents did follow other cult leaders as well after this one. But long story short, we were born into this. We did not have a choice in the matter. It was very similar to like JW's, Brian. We didn't eat any pork or shellfish, no Christmas, no birthdays, no none of that. Basically, you were having a great time and laughing and having fun and friends. You were probably doing something wrong.
So you're like Judaism light, basically. You're like pretending like you're following their laws, but you're also adding Christ into it.
Yeah,
better.
ooh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. Seventh-day Adventist is sort of similar as well.
That's how Jehovah's Witnesses see themselves as well. Like they're just better
Really?
Jews. Sorry, I'm not, and that's no offense, but that's how
what they
think
believe.
themselves. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
Wow.
You know, I just want to point out that the word Jew is not a bad word. It's how people have used it in the past. I know every time, like they see my.
I'm not comparing.
Understood.
I'm not comparing the better
Understood.
Jew. I'm not doing that.
Understood. Well, you know, when people see my commercial, the one for the Ghost Scented Flesh candles, and at the end of it, it says, you know, part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program, you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, can you say that? Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I noticed that too. When I heard the line, I was like, wait, why is that a problem? It's not a problem.
it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's only a problem if there's an expletive in front of it of some
Connotation.
reason. Yeah. So I just want to mention
Sorry, Nancy. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Anything we say will spur off into a lot of rabbit trails. We know this.
yes.
That goes
The
back
next
to,
Do you find a lot of people leaving the Armstrong cult that they end up joining other cults, or do some of them actually make it out of the
Good
cycle?
question.
some did. So what happened was the church actually split apart in the 90s. They went from legalistic to, more funny, Jesus loves you, rainbows out your asshole, Jesus. So we were raised with believing that this God we were supposed to fear, because he was like portrayed to us as an absolute monster, which he is in the Old Testament, but then we were also supposed to love him. So that was the sort of dynamic that we were told. And then they changed it to more mainstream Christianity, like evangelicalism, right? And so Patti and I, it's like evangelicals have a radar, and they sucked us both into evangelicalism as well. I was also in the Army. I was also in an MLM. So it's like all these
Wow.
control I just got sucked into because I couldn't navigate this world. I was taught to hate this world and the people in it. And that's what this organization did. And most people didn't like the new changes. And so it split apart. It still exists, but has a different name now, Grace Communion.
Oh, of course.
Grace Communion.
Okay.
But there are all kinds of offshoots of this church, splinter churches, in the form of Davis C. Pack's Restored Church of God, Gerald Flurry's Philadelphia Church of God, House of Yahweh, United Church of God. These are all offshoots, okay? And they split.
Okay.
Armstrongism. And that's also one of the reasons that we're here is we just want to get the information out. Be like, this is a doomsday cult. This is still all the same teachings. And here are the lasting impacts of what we were taught as children.
Right.
Wow.
Interesting. I want to say thank you real quick to Marduk one for the $5 super chat. Says, awesome panel. Praise Doug. Praise you, Doug.
Praise God.
Thank you very much for that. What an interesting story you ladies have. Now, Justin, we talked briefly about your story about how you created the channel, but if you don't mind, let me ask you real quick. Have you always been an atheist or a non-believer, or can you clarify for me?
Yeah, so like a lot of people, I kind of grew up in like a nominal Christian environment. I went to 12 years of Catholic school. My parents weren't very serious about religion. My mother was a non-practicing Catholic, so she wanted to go on like Christmas and Easter. And my dad was like a back row Baptist, so he didn't take it very seriously until I got a little bit older. But that being said, I kind of came into Christianity on my own during my teenage years because I was getting older, trying to fix my life up and take things more seriously. I was kind of a rebellious kid. And I got to a point where I got into some legal trouble, and I found myself in a position in life where I was like, you know what, if I keep doing this, I'm going to have a pretty poor future. So maybe I'll clean myself up. So as part of my rebranding efforts, I was like, shit, well, if I'm going to be a good person, maybe I should start like going to church and stuff like that. So I kind of fell into church that way. And
that's what good people do.
That's what people do, right? I don't know, right? And so I kind of fell into it that way, and it kind of grabbed me real hard. And I had, the born again experience and the whole thing, and I took it very seriously. And then I ended up going to Bible college and seminary, and to me, it was higher education that led me out of the faith. I can't say that I had bad experiences inside the church. I went to really great, like small churches, like 100 people or less, typically. I had a delightful experience inside of the church. But that being said, if the religion can't hold up to any sort of academic rigor, or, if it just turns out that it's not true, like eventually you have to come to grips with reality and leave. Like, what's the point in staying once you've discovered that there's no truth to it?
Right.
Agreed.
Interesting.
I've heard a lot of people educate their way out.
It's very common. True. We had a protocol for it when I was in Bible college. There was like 2 or 3 professors on staff that was like, when somebody was getting ready to drop out of Bible college, go alert Professor so-and-so, and they'll go and try to do cleanup because it was so common. And yeah, it's a very common experience. And even people before I went to seminary, they was like, well, don't lose your faith at seminary. They call it the cemetery for a reason. Like, well,
oh, wow.
I've heard the idea that there's something where like it's very near, maybe even Darante did a show about this. I don't know. It's like near the end of your seminary education is where they kind of tell you the secrets. The parts of it, like, yeah, it doesn't actually make sense, or no, there is actually these problems, but you're like so in at that point,
Yeah,
it depends a little bit of the process. So, like your first semester, you're going to take 2 hermeneutics classes, maybe 3, and the goal of hermeneutics classes is to say everything that you thought you knew about the Bible is wrong. You need to whatever your church taught you is probably silly. Here, let's break it all down, and we're going to teach you how to actually interpret the Bible in an academic fashion, so you're reading it faithfully to what the authors intended. So that's good. They're trying to break down the training or the pre-programming that you got. The good thing is this starts the deconstruction process, and then you start taking your actual classes where they want you to learn theology, they want you to learn the history, they want you to learn the languages. It's not until you start getting through most of those classes that you start running into the actual problems. When you're doing like the exegesis on the book of Isaiah, and you're like, oh shit, Isaiah 7 has nothing to do with the Messiah. That's when, but you're so far in, you're 2 years in, and you're doing your exegetical studies now, and you're like, oh yeah, these prophecies never got fulfilled, did they? And that's when you got like a lot of people They either graduate and then they don't go into ministry. My twin brother graduated from Liberty and then didn't go into ministry. Or sometimes they graduate and they go into ministry and they're just super liberal because they're like, yeah, there's some problems here. And some people just become atheists like me.
Wait, so Justin, can I just clarify? Okay, you have a twin brother, and Chris, you have a twin brother as well, don't you?
Mhm.
Whoa.
I do.
Mhm.
I do. Are you identical, Justin? You and your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, wowsies.
Oh, really? Well, me and mine are kind of identical. I mean, his face looks like my ass.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we don't really look that much alike.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, we don't look alike at all, really. I mean, you probably might think we're brothers, but no, not
Okay,
anymore.
well-
Yeah.
Patty and I get told that we look like twins all the time.
You do. I thought you were twins. Yeah.
I,
You could
I think
definitely pass for twins.
my favorite comment was just recently when we were at Free Flow. We met Punk Apostate's girlfriend, and she looked at me and said, are you the other half of the Apostate sisters? And when I confirmed, she says, I thought so, because it was the same face, different font.
Oh, cute.
So cute.
That's a good way to
That
see
is.
it. Yeah.
Mm.
She was-
I usually think straight hair, curly hair. It's kind of how I differentiate. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'll do that.
because I mean, y'all, there's a similarity. Clearly, you two look more alike than me and my twin brother.
Right.
Oh,
Nancy looks nothing like my ass, I can confirm.
We-
You have pictures of both side by side. We won't believe you until we see pictures of both sides.
Oh, Chris. Only if Ryan can show hers as well.
I mean, I could be so lucky for my ass to look like Nancy's face.
I
to
was
be
going
honest.
to say,
Yeah.
beautiful. Damn.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, right.
This is why you can't stream on TikTok.
Oh,
Got it already.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Wow,
is that
yeah.
how it
Okay,
works?
we better
It's a
not.
language thing. They don't like harsh language, adult language.
It's AI monitored too.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I've had
That
TikTok
explains a
taken
lot.
down because something slipped through a bad word.
But we're on YouTube, so we can say anything we want. What fuckity fuck, we're good to go.
Fuck yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I like
I mean,
it.
yeah.
Fuckity fuck.
Like a kind of a bunch of 12-year-olds that got away from their parents, and now they
You know
give me that
what?
fucking stick. Okay, here's your fucking stick.
I started putting disclaimers on our videos about this because to me, the fact of us being on the internet and swearing the worst swear words we know is healing and redeeming as hell. You know?
Agreed.
Like,
Well,
to me, that's like a reclamation of my own autonomy in a way because we had so many words and so many things that weren't to be talked
Really?
about.
Right.
And so, like, you know, it's like, it's that reclaiming of like, why would someone be able to tell me the words that could come out of my mouth if I'm not doing harm to someone, you know?
right. We do have an episode about that called Silence to Swearing, where it was one of our early videos, actually, one of our first ones where we were talking about
The first, I
how
think.
much our language was controlled. The information going in, the information going out. We often reference the bite model, Dr. Stephen Hassan's bite model, when it comes to
Love that bite model.
control. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you find that after you guys were kind of broke free from Armstrong's cult, was it difficult to because culture's so used to getting you to think for them and not for yourself?
Mhm.
Was it hard to switch that way of thinking once you're out to like, oh, I actually have to like make all my own decisions and think for myself? Or
Justin, that's one of the reasons I joined the Army. I couldn't navigate this world. I couldn't. I had a hard time with jobs, and I just I didn't realize that I could use my own mind and make my own decisions. I needed someone to constantly tell me not like what to do, but like exactly how to do it, and I wasn't finding that. And then of course, you know, an MLM and both the military just
they'll tell you.
yeah, they'll tell me and I spent 10 years and
Wow.
I'd say it's an ongoing
So-
process that
Yeah.
being able to do something and know my own mind about anything is still hard.
I agree. I still don't know. I
Wow.
still sometimes I don't know who I am in some ways. I don't know if I like it because I was programmed to, or if I really do like something? I ask myself that question quite regularly.
Oh, that's
We need
so
to
relatable.
spend time dating ourselves, what I call
Oh, yes.
like, and actually recommend everyone do this. Like even in the comments, like
And a little foreplay.
I know it's like not just with toys either, guys.
I'm all about
It's about
that.
all of
I
life.
am.
get yourself some fun toys that you can laugh at.
I usually just skip right to the end of the date myself. I'm like, you look sexy, bitch. Let's go. Have you ever looked at your hand and gone, oh, you looking hot tonight?
Oh,
I
gosh.
have.
Anytime Christmas.
So funny.
Uh,
Oh, this reminds me. I told Nancy this already, but I just saw that Girl Defined is doing a live class on masturbation.
Wait, who is?
Girl
Girl
Defined.
Defined. They're like the top Christian sisters that talk about being a
Yes.
woman of God.
Oh,
And they're going
really?
to talk about what to do with your struggle around masturbating as a godly woman.
Oh, boy.
And I am sure thinking about buying a ticket to that class.
oh my
I-
Lord.
Oh, epic. God.
We have to get a copy of that video somehow and then do a reaction video.
Yes.
I know. Doesn't it sound
I
great?
know. My reaction video would just be heavy breathing. Maybe some knocking sounds.
I'm not sure if that would count as fair use, Chris. Actually, that'd be funny as hell. It would count.
I want to take a moment to say thank you to Raven Lunatic for the 10 memberships that he's just given across to the channel. Thank you very much, Raven, once again.
Big W.
Yes. What's that?
I said big W.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Raven's awesome.
Me.
I don't care what Raven says. He's awesome. Wait, I don't care what anybody else says about Raven. Either way, really. Raven's awesome. Thank you. Okay, real quick though, I'm going to run us a quick one of our little commercials. We'll take a little break. When we come back, this is going to be interesting because we're going to have Theocracy Watch,
Yay.
and we're going to have the Apostate Sisters and Justin to help us. You know, usually we do a Theocracy Watch where she does her thing, and then afterwards we talk about it, banter it about a little bit. It's going to be fun today. I think I'll give people some goats. Should we do goats?
Goats it is. I want some boobies at some point.
Oh, you want boobies?
Oh,
Let's do
always.
Wild Bill first then. Okay,
Who
we'll do
doesn't
Wild
want
Bill
movies?
first. I know, right? Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. What the? I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and I'll be your handsome host, your gilded guide, your cowboy concierge of Shakespeare. Dude, really? Today on Shakespeare with a Redneck, I'm going to perform the prologue from Romeo and Juliet. Damn it, Bill. Two households, both alike in dignity in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Hey, that wasn't half bad. I'm not as dumb as I look. Of course not. You'd be in a coma. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, two snot-nosed brats ignore the warnings of their learned parents and end up getting 4 people killed. Bill, come on, man, you're always blah, blah, atheist stuff, blah, blah, boring. Say something fun, for goodness sake. What? Particle is a fun word. Bill, particle. Bill, or talk about horses and dogs. People love horses and dogs. Or boobies. Everybody loves boobies. Bill, oh, can I say boobies on YouTube? If you close your eyes, it doesn't count. Talk about boobies then. Okay, everybody loves those cute little blue-footed bastards. It hurts right here. Culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid bringing a plague on both your houses. A plague on both your houses! By hitting that subscribe button, then that little notification bell. And bang that thumbs up button like frisky cousins at a family reunion. Thank you and take care. Peace. We are back. Thank you all. We were talking about Bill's proclivity,
Oh my
and we won't though.
God.
You guys are wonderful. I'm so looking forward to meeting you guys with any of the next events. Y'all are so much fun.
Likewise, Chris. I appreciate this channel so much. Every morning, well, most of the time I'm able to at least watch you, whether I'm driving or not, go into the comments. And you bring a smile to my face when I'm just there making breakfast or doing my thing. And I appreciate you so much.
Well,
and everyone who watches you is so great. This is really a great community. So thank you for all you do here.
Right. Thank you. We do have fun on the show. That's something that vexes me something fierce, is because people will come in so many times. I hear people go, man, it's such a fun place. It's laughs, it's fun. But there's so many crazy things going on in the world that it's hard for me not to talk about them. This is my voice. But if I do that, it destroys the show. So it's a really tough line to walk. I'm so passionate about what's going on in the world, but I don't want to limit my voice by speaking about it. So I can talk about atheism on this channel. It works really well. But if I start doing political stuff on here, it doesn't, so what I need for my own well-being, I need to find another channel or another somebody who already does it, maybe like the Midas Group, who will let me drop left-wing content on their stuff rather than, because I was trying to build my own left-wing through the damn Chris Mallard channel, but it's just it's a lot. If you know what it's like to try to build a YouTube channel and watch it stagnate, it sucks. It's a lot of work.
Grind.
It is. And I get up at 2:00 in the morning. I usually come in, between 2 and 3. I usually come in, I sit down, I chill for a little bit, and then I start working. Yeah, I'm building shows. I'm doing editing a video. I'm researching something. I'm watching I do all kinds of stuff as far as DaVinci Resolve and OBS, and it's just so much. It's a constant grind. Right. Well, here's what I've thought about doing. I've thought about, because I really like doing all this tech nerd stuff, just starting a how-to channel. One of those tech nerd channels. They do a lot of success. They get a lot of success. Just do videos about how to set up YouTube and OBS and stuff, doing that.
Your multi-potentialite is showing, Chris.
Yes. True. Multi-hyphenated. I'm also an actor. I don't know that most of you know that I'm an actor. I do Shakespeare. You didn't know I was an actor, Justin?
No, I had no idea.
You can find me on IMDb as Chris Black. I used to have a website, but I'm rebuilding it. I've got a demo. Now, it might be hard because I quit paying for IMDb. So
you may not find
the... Yeah. If you want your images and stuff on there, IMDb.com.
I had no idea.
Did you have to pay for information on IMDb? Just information?
Yeah.
You do? I didn't know it either.
Let me see here. Well, for some reason they're even... I just quit paying for it.
Capitalist hellscape we live in. Are you serious?
Yeah. So, but I'm an actor. Really, most of what I do is I like the Shakespeare. I found me. But now it's, I know why, because I'm not paying for it anymore. It's about $70 a year. And really, at the end of 2024, when things were getting more political and I fired up the Daily Atheist Morning Show again in August, I really cut back my acting and I stopped paying for stuff like this. I don't work. I do this. The evil one kind of floats our whole bill. Whenever Justin's like, I'll promote your channel, I'm like, hell yeah, don't do that. That's better than don't throw me $10. Say hi on the channel, because man, it's just so important as a YouTube content creator. But yeah, I do the acting. I slice, I dice. I do julienne French fries. I can cut through a beer can and still slice tomatoes razor thin.
And you do accents. You do a couple different accents.
And I do accents. I can't really help it. Yeah. I guess if you wanted to say, I'm a comedian that's never been on a stage telling comedy. I can't help it. Especially if I start getting nervous, I'll start ripping them off and dropping them down. I just can't help it. And one of my early inspirations, here's my thinking. If you're a kid and your kids go through cycles, they play with little toys and they go with like big trucks and then they like girls and then they like certain things. And at some point in that development, they usually get stuck in something. Liking big trucks, right? So sure, they still like girls and they like toys, but when they get older, you'll find them driving big trucks because that's where they get stuck into it. Comedy was my thing. Whenever I was young as a kid and I was in that influential era of my life, it was Robin Williams.
Ah, yes.
Love
Wow.
me some Robin Williams, you know. I mean, and maybe I don't try to be like Robin Williams. I think what happened is I have a personality that's funny, and I gravitated towards people like me, you know.
Mhm. Can I just
And so
say,
I'm kind of
Good Will Hunting, was that like the best performance by Robin Williams?
that was fantastic. Yes,
It touched my heart so much in that movie. I love that movie to pieces. It's so good.
That's an interesting thing. Let's talk about this briefly. I got something I've been thinking about doing. Christian or Atheist reviews Christian movies.
Oh,
And you're like, oh, you know, so let's talk about maybe doing these Kevin Sorbo shit Christian movies.
There's so many bad ones.
So many bad,
like
right? That'd be boring. Who
God-awful
wants to do
movies?
that? Boom. Who wants to do that? No. What about Constantine? That's a
I've
Christian
not
movie.
seen it.
Oh, it's with John. I want to call him John Wick. There's a lot.
Keanu Reeves.
A lot of
you're talking about.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah, he did. There are a lot of movies. You remember the one with Mel Gibson and the aliens? What was it called?
Passion of the Christ?
Signs?
Signs. Yeah, not Passion. Close. Passion of the Christ with Passion. He got me with Signs. Sure, Signs is an alien movie, but it's actually a Christian alien movie. Because he's a Catholic priest and he gets his faith confirmed by the things that happened with his wife. That's a Christian movie.
Cool.
Atheist reviews Christian movies. They don't have to be shit movies. Hey, if any of you have ever seen Event Horizon, Sam Neill back in the day is a horror flick. It's one of the best sci-fi. Oh yeah, it's a sci-fi ship. And what the deal is that in the past they sent a ship out there to do some kind of exploring or try a new drive, right? It disappeared. Yeah. And then now all of a sudden that ship has arrived. It's back. So they send another ship to go check it out. And apparently that ship had gone into hell. And it was back, and there's all kinds of this mind stuff, but that's Christian storytelling. You know, there's so many fun movies out there that are kind of Christian oriented.
Chris, we could also watch movies that a lot of Christians say are attacking Christians, like Happy Feet. How about that?
Is Happy Feet attacking Christians? What the hell's wrong with Happy Feet?
I know, it's
Christians
the Penguin movie,
right?
Attack on Christians. I am not shitting you. I'm not pooping you.
Oh, really? No. After all we've been through together, that's
Way
the
to
line
clean it up, Nancy.
I'm not trying to get you demonetized here.
Oh, are you worried about that, Chris? I don't think you're worried about that.
I'm not worried about that. Yeah,
You've seen our channel, right? Okay.
Yeah. No, that happened
only on the live
time.
shows.
I think Ryan muted herself.
Oh, Ryan. Yep.
No, I can't hear you. Push it again, maybe?
Oh.
We lost Ryan.
Are you there?
Oh, no.
Hello.
Oh, no, we can't hear her. Uh-oh.
Well, maybe if you refresh. Oh, she's going to refresh her. Oh, I see.
Well, this can't be the work of the devil because the devil's on our side. So it's got to be the work of Yahweh.
It must be. She's being
Kind of a
smited.
bastard, I've heard. What?
He's kind of a bastard. Yes, she's being smited. Maybe has she tried praying over the computer?
I mean, that's not wrong. Jesus was a bastard. He was fatherless according to the story.
Great point.
That's true. That's true.
Quite literally.
That's why he had to die. You guys know that, right? He had to die to pay for his own sins because he was born out of wedlock and done so through what's the word I'm looking for? Adultery. Yeah, because she was already betrothed to Joseph. So God diddled someone who was already betrothed, breaking Deuteronomy 22. And the punishment for that is that you have to die. It's a capital punishment. So he died for his own crimes, apparently.
Well, I thought he was sinless. I'm so confused by this now. It's like you're telling me it's not all true.
Oh, no. I would never say that.
What do you think happened, Justin? Do you think Mary and Joseph got it on before the wedding and this was just something that they concocted together? Or do you think she was skipping out on him and she made up this story and told Joseph to like, oh, no, it was actually, it was God that impregnated.
Hand jobs and fingering, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What do we think?
I have a theory. I'm a little bit partial to what Kelsis said. I think she probably was betrothed to an older man. It was probably an arranged marriage of some nature, and she was found to be with child during the course of the betrothal period, probably by it. Now, according to the Celsus and even some other Jews, it was by a Roman centurion named Pantera. Not nearly as cool as the band, but anyways, he is a centurion, so he might have been at least a little more fun than old man Joseph. So my guess is that she was found to be with child, and Joseph was older. It was an arranged marriage, and he's like, well, shit, I'm only going to be here for another 10 years anyways. Might as well not ruin her life. And according to legend, he already had kids of his own. So in the proto-evangelism of James, he already had kids from a prior marriage. He was a widower.
I've heard that.
And so he was probably just a chill dude. And that's also why he doesn't show up later in the Gospels. He already passed away. He was already gone. And so I think, to me, that's a plausible explanation for what we read in the Gospels. But the problem with trying to fill in the plot holes is, like, I don't even know if half the Gospel story, any of it's true. You know what I mean? Like, other than Jesus existing in real life, it's hard to know if we can say anything in the Gospels written about him is true, other than the fact that he got axed by the Romans.
Right.
Okay.
That was my question. Like, are we trying to say that we think this story told by a teenage girl is anything even like that we're claiming is anything remotely real? You know, like, I don't know.
Right.
Right.
Well, you know, I have a question here. So kind of to that thinking, there was the thinking, did she and Joseph do the deed together during the betrothal, and she become pregnant? Or I know. Or did she have some fun? She was a young girl, teenage girl. Maybe there's some young teenage boy. They had some fun. Now, I'm going to go with the latter rather than it being Joseph, only because if my understanding, and Justin may be able to clarify, there was a point where Joseph was even concerned and then was convinced that it was a God's. So I think that was kind of the thing. At first, he was going to redeem her or whatever. They were going to submit her to the law, if you will. And then he decided that he believed her story, that it was, am I mistaken? Is that kind of a really lowbrow way of seeing that?
Well, no, I don't think so. And there's two ways to read the story. It's possible you can read it as Joseph knocked her up before they were married, which is why it says at one point in the infancy gospel that Joseph was a righteous man. If he was a righteous man, then theoretically, if you knocked up someone, you would have to get married to him. It was like, we think of it today as like this great shame. But in reality, in the ancient world, if you knocked up somebody you weren't married to, it wasn't a great shame. You just had to marry them. It'd be a great shame if you knocked him up and then didn't marry him. That would be the problem. But we do have one verse in Matthew at the very first chapter, right after the supposed virgin birth fulfillment. It says that Joseph had no marital relations with Mary until she gave birth to a son and named him Jesus, which means the gospel wants you to believe that they weren't touching each other prior to Jesus being born, which is a weird thing that they would point out unless they were trying to cover up for something, which is maybe there was some touching going on.
Maybe the story, none of it's real at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. Well, you know, if Jesus is supposed to be the descendant of David, right? Doesn't one of them brings the lineage down through Joseph, and the other one brings the lineage down through Jesus' mother, right?
That's actually a misconception. Both of them terminate in Joseph. And so the problem you have is that Joseph just simply wasn't the father. And Mary was a Levite, according to the book of Luke. In the third chapter of Luke, when we learn of Mary's sister Elizabeth, we learn that Elizabeth was of the tribe of Levi, which would entail that Mary was of the tribe of Levi too. So the fact of the matter is, if Mary was a Levite and he had no daddy, then that means he couldn't be descendant of David. And even worse than that, it gets worse. In Deuteronomy 23, we have an interesting law where Yahweh says, anyone born of an illicit union shall not come into the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. None of their descendants shall come into the assembly of the Lord. So Jesus wasn't even welcome at the temple. He shouldn't have been there driving people out of it.
Oh,
Wow.
that'd make me mad. Make me want to flip tables too. Then, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they wouldn't let him in.
Why?
That's why I'm burned up. Yeah.
Ryan, is your microphone working yet? No? Okay.
Oh, okay.
We do that. Okay.
Okay. I don't think it's our software. I mean, we'll see when she comes back. Yeah, there's another, there was an interesting thing. Let me go ahead and close that out there. An interesting thing thoughts I was having about Lot and his daughters was that what happened was Lot and his daughters went to hide in a cave. He got them pregnant. Then he came back from the cave and people are like, wait, you were up in the cave. How did they get pregnant? And he's like, oh, well, they got me drunk.
It wasn't me.
Right, because, I mean, first of all, what are the likelihood that the women actually could write? So who wrote the book? He wrote the book. And then the story, right? So they fled with nothing. They fled the city on foot with nothing. Mom stopped, looked back. She gets turned into a pillar of salt. Where'd they get all the wine?
Yeah, probably from Zoar, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Well, it's kind of... there you go. Maybe they had wineskins, because wasn't it the angel? He tried to... He left and was going to, was it Zoar? And then the angels, he stopped and decided to go to the cave in the mountains. And the angels are like, no, you need to go over here. And he's like, no, I need to go over here. I'm too old to go over there. So he went to the cave instead of going to the Zoar at first, right?
So, yeah, he went to... They go to Zoar and then they leave almost immediately and go into the hills, which is weird because initially... when he escapes, he's like, hey, don't destroy this little town of Zoar. Let me escape there. He goes, because if I go in the wilderness, some evil might overtake me, right? So it's like, don't let me go into the wilderness. I could die there. So he goes, okay, I'll spare Zoar just for you. And so they go to Zoar. And then the next thing that happens, they're like, fuck, let's go to the wilderness. I was like, you just said you didn't want to go to the wilderness. Yeah. So they end up in the wilderness and some evil absolutely does overtake them. And that evil appears to be lust and wine. But
hey, I got a question. That's like a doublet where it's like they maybe had two versions of the story that then they put together.
I think that's true for most of these stories. In the destruction of Sodom, I would consider this like a fragmentary story where it most likely came together in fragments and was kind of pieced together. Like a true doublet would be like the Noah narrative, where we had two cohesive narratives, and then they just interlaced them, and that's why it reads like so many duplicate instructions. This story seems to be like they're just piecing things together and kind of, oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I remember that, and they're kind of sticking it together. Because you can't break it out into two different narratives. There's not enough details there. But there's enough contradictory details that you're like, this isn't a good story. Somebody's piecing something together here. What's happening? Right. But I had a question.
There are like 4 different versions of him. All right, sorry, go ahead. I won't get you.
Well, I had a question about the story too. Now that we've got because I get from a male perspective, I'm reading the story. I'm like, first of all, he's drunk, and some things when you get blackout drunk. First of all, if you're so drunk you don't know. Go. If you're so drunk that you don't know who you're with, there's equipment that's not going to work properly, right?
Correct.
But that's only half the equation. The other half of the equation is both of the sisters were complete virgins. They never knew a man before. What are the odds that 2 virgin teenage girls are just going to figure it out and get pregnant the first time? It seems unlikely.
Yes, these are the things I've been saying about that story forever. It's not just that. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. It's not just that he was a man and that he got so drunk that he didn't remember. That's enough. If Justin, a strong, young, virile man, were to get that drunk, he would have a hard time getting some things going. Because but my understanding is Lot was an elderly old man. Part of the reason why he didn't want to follow the angel's instructions and go to that other town, whichever town before or after, was because he was too old and frail and he didn't want to do it. Are you there?
I don't know.
Yes, he is.
Hallelujah. Jesus,
Oh.
he took the
Um,
wheel.
Wineskins and foreskins. Oh, holy shit. Yeah.
Leave it
There's
to
the
Raven.
foreskins. Yeah.
Thank you for the $5 super chat, Raven. Raven says, "Why did they make early wine? What? Why did they make early wineskins out of foreskins? If you rub it the right way, a 2-liter cask becomes a 4-liter cask."
Genius. Amazing.
I have to say, yeah.
Is that all it takes?
That explains
So-
why Saul wanted all those foreskins for his daughter in marriage.
yeah. Another example of where you can see in the Bible how there's supposedly a good person, a hero, a person who has possibly millions of people throughout history named after him, David. And yet, if you were to go out and kill 200 men and cut the ends of their dicks off now,
Probably.
I mean, just the notion that he did that for a woman. And that's just one aspect of his life,
Right.
right?
I often
mean,
make that comparison. People get so bent out of shape about it happening to women. I'm like, we do it to the males from birth. They don't have any say in the matter. It's a total disregard for bodily autonomy. And that's where Patty and I come from on that.
Mm.
On that.
Oh, I was gonna go Ed Gein on that one and talk about belly button lampshades, but it's okay.
Lot's daughters found a couple of young hunks, got their dad to drink until he passed out so he wouldn't know what they were doing with the boys. Well, back to that real quick. That's the whole thing now. It's not only that he was drunk, allegedly. Now, this is my thinking. I think he got them pregnant, left, and that was just his story he told to cover up his part of the thing. We even talked about it on the show the other day. They left. Now, of course, the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. They were really good. Oh no, they weren't. They were shit places. And Lot's pretty much described as a shit person by every action he does, trying to throw out his virgin daughters and all this business. I mean, it's just such a horrific example of morality in the Bible
Dad of the
from the go.
year.
Stop.
The
picking
crazy
this-
thing is in 2 Peter chapter 2, they refer to Lot as being righteous, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
which is a crazy
What's that?
turn of events. In 2 Peter chapter 2,
Uh-huh.
it says, it refers to Lot, it says, a righteous man greatly distressed by the debauchery of lawlessness. Yeah, that's not how I read it there, Peter.
Yeah,
Wow.
Peter. The hell.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
right there with what you were saying about David. Man after God's own heart. We know all the crazy shit he did that hurt
I know,
people.
dude.
Yeah.
David
all this, right?
had his people. Oh, sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
David had his people search the kingdom to find a little virgin girl that he could lie with to keep him warm in his last days. That's what are you doing, old man? That's the story of Abishag, if you guys remember that story. But
I
like,
don't remember that one. They didn't teach
Yeah.
that one in Sunday school.
they don't want you to know about that one. And yeah, that's at the end of the first book of Kings, if I remember, or the beginning of 2 Kings.
That's last
He's an old
semester in
man.
seminary, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gross.
I mean, if we wonder why all these cult leaders and mega church preachers do what they do, they're just trying to be godly men. Look at the example they have in the Bible. This is how they're supposed to look
know.
at Abraham.
Follow in
giving
the footsteps.
Oh,
Crazy.
Oh yeah, Abraham is a horrific example. He's one of my favorite horrific examples.
yeah, I like the stories you told us recently about him.
Oh yeah, yeah. But one of the things, of course, him and his wife, how he gives her away to another man, gives them the crotch cooties, and then they get all the coin. What is it? Crotch cattle, crotch coin, crotch cooties. I mean, all this money he gets for Sarai's what? For her virtue. I mean, that must have been some good shit too. Because if you know the story, she was 65 when they left his father's home. They traveled the desert for a few years. Hey, Justin, you've seen the goat scented flesh candle commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the goat scented flesh candle commercial, that's why it's an old lady. The lady in the commercial is an old lady, is because Sarai was ancient whenever she allegedly went to Egypt, and the Pharaoh thought she was so hot,
Mm-hmm.
despite being surrounded by, I presume, beautiful Egyptian women, that he was willing
the
to.
other thing, yeah, in the doublet of that, apostate sisters were talking about doublets. In the doublet of that, in chapter 20, when the king Abimelech does the same thing in Gerar, she's 90, maybe 91 at that time, and she's already stated 2 chapters prior in chapter 18, so that I'm an old worn out woman. She laughs at Yahweh when she says, or he says he's going to get pregnant. So I'm an old woman, right? So like now we have this crazy story 2 chapters later where like the king of the Qurar is like, I need the booming granny, bring her to me. The stories don't make sense.
That's right, huh?
Wow.
Oh, you know, I've always thought that what happened was Abram and Sarai died, you know, and then they were replaced by Abraham and Sarah, literally replacement people who were younger and who went on to have children. I only say that because, I mean, look at the circumstances. It sounds like 2 stories stuck together about how they started having children afterwards.
So they kind of just like hired new actors. And they're like, oh, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Well, they even changed their
They
name.
replaced the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even changed their names,
Yeah.
Indeed.
you know? So, I don't know. Just a thought. I don't know nothing. I have no Bible education outside of watching Justin on the Deconstruction. So, or, you know.
We're free to exercise our imagination just as they do. I can back up practically anything I say with a scripture just as they do. So,
Yes, yes.
So
It's a matter of accumulating a whole bunch of crap knowledge. You know what we haven't done, though? We haven't done Theocracy Watch.
Oh, yay.
Oh, right.
We got so excited doing all this stuff. So you want to do another commercial, or are you ready, Ryan?
Oh,
Are
we
you
can
pumped?
go. That's fine. Yeah, I just
You're
as long
ready?
as my damn mic don't cut out, we'll be fine.
right, well,
I
we'll
really
see.
have no idea what happened. So
Well, Justin had determined that it wasn't Satan because he's on our side. So it must have been the Lord smiting you on the stream.
oh, I've been smited again. Smite, smitten. What the? I don't know.
Smoke.
Smitten.
Yeah, that's interesting how those 2 come together. Okay, come together. Smitten. Okay, Theocracy.
You're tuned into the Atheist Morning Show on the DAM Network. And this is Theocracy Watch.
Miss Rachel has spent years creating a safe space for children as a beloved educator, singer, and content creator online who teaches speech, emotional regulation, and kindness through music and affirmations. She helps kids feel seen and guides them through big feelings, one song at a time. She's known for saying sweet, affirming things like, I'm so proud of you, you're doing your best, and that's enough. And she means it because that's the kind of person she is, and ultimately the heart of her platform. So when she showed up at a vigil mourning Palestinian children who'd been killed in Gaza, it wasn't politics, it was her conscience and on brand for who she is. But that simple act of humanity became a target of hate. The group StopAntisemitism.org blasted her on social media, accusing her of promoting hate. They turned a peaceful moment into a political assault, using religion not to protect, but to intimidate. We're seeing people being targeted, deported, and publicly destroyed for simply standing in solidarity. When showing compassion for all children becomes punishable offense, it necessitates us asking what the motives are behind those attacks. Miss Rachel has faced harassment and backlash, forcing her to step away from the very work that helps children feel safe. And let's be freaking for real. Going after Miss Rachel is like going after Barney the big purple dinosaur. You know, the I love you, you love me guy. They wouldn't hurt a fly. She's teaching a generation of kids how to love beyond boundaries. If showing quiet care at a vigil for thousands of children is considered dangerous now, what does that say about where we're headed and where religion is headed? Because if Miss Rachel, the internet's gentlest soul, isn't safe from these attacks, what chance do the rest of us have? And I'm telling you, come on, y'all, I am not even half that nice. And that's the point. If somebody like Miss Rachel isn't safe, we're all screwed. The people trying to silence her don't want peace. They want punishment, but not because we're breaking the law, because we're breaking silence. And you know what that means? It's time to get loud and stay curious. Until next time. And again, thank you, Jesse Bear, for this story. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you. If anybody out there has a story for Theocracy Watch, you can send it to news@thedamshow.com and I will send it on to Ryan. So,
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan. I love your Theocracy Watch.
it's kind of like somebody going after Mr. Rogers.
That's what it was.
You know? Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, I think
So that's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one? Which part?
But my mom hated Mr. Rogers. We weren't allowed to watch him growing up. I'm not joking. My mother wouldn't let me watch Mr. Rogers growing up because she thought it would turn us gay.
I gotta go. I have to go.
I glitched.
Really? Really?
I never heard such a thing. We couldn't watch the
True story.
Smurfs, but like
Well, let me
Gargamel
ask you
makes
then.
sense, but like that.
Right.
May I ask you 2 questions?
Jeez.
So, did you watch it?
I watched it when mom wasn't around because we didn't have cable, so we only get like public access stuff. So sometimes it was on and she wasn't around and we were able to catch it. But I don't know any of the stories. I don't know any of the people. I recognize the figure of the guy in the sweater, and that's about it.
So you're not fully gay. You just like, but
Exactly. That's the best ways.
It didn't get scripted into you.
It didn't have time to really seep in, you know?
You're right. Just like a thumb or something. Understood.
Yeah.
Just a tip.
Now he has compassion for gay people. See, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, I was going to say actually that I didn't think Barney was a good example, only because so
Barney
many
was
people went after Barney hardcore.
Oh, that is true. There are a lot of people who didn't like.
Wait, where can I find Barney Hardcore?
Remember, people, we don't kink shame. We don't
I got
kink
some
shame
in my
here.
trunk, Justin.
We're going to talk, Ryan.
You know what's so weird about us watching was The Lion King, and I shit you not, the movie The Lion King, and it was because of the whole concept of the circle of life. There was actually one time when I was a kid, my mother would not even let me color in a coloring page that was The Lion King because of that. Yep, not kidding.
Wait, the circle of life. What's that?
I don't know. She never explained it. That's usually what it was. Don't do this. You have to do this, but no explanation with any of that.
That's true.
I mean, Circle
if
of
I
Life
asked about
sounds a little indigenous to me, which I think
Yeah.
would
maybe that's
that's
what
the
it is.
problem.
trigger.
That's the problem they had with it. They didn't have the problem with the fact that Simba and the chick were brother and sister, technically, or that he was actually singing a song about "I want to be king," and that literally means your dad has to die. So his dad to be dead. But the problem you have is that there's a circle.
Well, and there was
you know this.
There was the whole thing where the dust flew out from when he's on the hill and he plops down Simba, and the petals or whatever make the word sex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I never saw
Yeah,
that.
that's totally real. I have seen.
Oh my gosh, I'm watching it now.
The Little Mermaid.
That is some very bored
The
animators.
penis in the castle, right?
Castle is a bunch of penises. Look
Yeah.
at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The castle.
I mean,
that's a penis.
all
there.
castles,
Yeah.
turrets.
I don't know. Based on size, I think it's more like a cock than a penis.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, good. You've seen it, right? It's pretty.
Of course, no. Don't show us.
Everything's a dildo if you try hard enough.
That is true.
You share, Ryan.
Well, you see that fluffy mic thing?
Need lots of room for that. I'm just saying.
Cost extra to make it disappear.
My skin was all off on that because you have a little one that you use for TikTok videos, right?
Yeah,
a little
the little
tiny fluffy one.
Little tiny-
I thought that was your little tiny fluffy mic, just really close to the camera, and then you grabbed it. I was like, "Whoa!"
Cool. So I want to ask real quick, Justin. I've seen a lot of your shows. You do debate a lot of Christians, and oh my goodness, you've got the patience of a saint, man. You've got the patience of a saint.
Dude.
Days.
I haven't. Yeah. What's that?
I said some days I don't.
Some days. Yeah, I just don't know how. I mean, yeah. So I don't know how you do. How do you do it without? Is it because you're on TikTok and if you cuss too much, it'll knock your channel so you don't tell them they're fucking idiots? That's just the
Yeah, like, are
stupidest
you
fucking thing.
internally frustrated, but you just outwardly don't show it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just really
How's that
that
work?
calm, cool, collected?
Yeah, inside sometimes I'm yelling at them in my
Okay,
brain, but I
good.
can do that
I feel better now.
outwardly. But So I think for me, it's easier because I was deep in the religion myself. So, and just like, you guys that were once in it, there was a time period where I was just as, saying unintelligent things like my guests were, right? There was times where I was making excuses for God's behavior. So like, I do kind of expect it because I think it's like a normal thing to cope with. But like when they're straight up starting to get dishonest with me and they're not, like, we're reading a text that's clearly horrific and then they're trying to justify, well, it's okay because these people X, Y, and Z. That's when it starts to get kind of annoying because it's like they're not really being honest with it. They're just trying to cope. I think a normal person, like if I took you the Quran, I said there's a verse in the Quran where it says, hey, if you rape this young woman, you can pay the bride price and she becomes your wife. They'd be like, that's horrible. That's why Islam is terrible. But if it's in the Bible, they'll bend over backwards in order to justify it, right? So when we get to the point where the guest is in full on hypocrisy mode, I can get a little bit annoyed, but I do kind of expect it. I want to give them a little bit of grace to be a Christian because part of being a Christian means you have to defend your faith a little bit. But it's hard to know if they're taking any of it in because like Nancy and Patti, I'm sure there were moments when you were in the faith where you saw things that like it rubbed you the wrong way, or on the face of it, you're like, well, this doesn't seem right, but you're like, but I'll deal with it for now. Like I'll let it slide for now. But like, where does the breaking point? Like for me, the breaking point came at a different point where it might be different for everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, just to clarify, I for sure was never an actual believer. I got sucked. Okay. I was raised in the cult, but I did get sucked into evangelicalism due to someone pulling me into an MLM, and I hated church. I never set foot in a church because I actually wanted to be there. I tried to convince myself that some sort of deity existed, and I never successfully did it. My mind would just not. It couldn't grasp this. In my head, I was just like, "This is boring. This is bullshit." But like. And this is a whole thing, especially in this country. Maybe I got into Patti a little bit more because she's older and she was a little bit more indoctrinated than I was. But yeah, if you wanted to share that, Pats.
Well, I mean, to what you're saying there, Justin, I think what happens when you are indoctrinated really young is you build up a protective layer that's ready to make sure you don't have those thoughts, So it's like I could almost identify a couple of layers where it's like I might have realized like, ooh, this feels weird. There's something wrong about this. I don't like how people are treating each other. Why does that seem like that's not actually good and kind and compassionate, But I couldn't think those thoughts because it would be unsafe to me to think those thoughts. So like the feeling's there, but it doesn't become conscious because you can't, because then you're like in greater danger. You know what I'm saying? Like our brain just has all these ways of protecting us to stop us from seeing things we need to see because they're too scary.
Right. It's like a defense mechanism. I read a study a long time ago where they challenged people's religious beliefs, and then they studied how their brain reacts and what kind of chemicals are being transferred and whatnot. And they basically said the study concluded that someone who's being physically threatened and someone who's having the religious beliefs threatened are exhibiting the exact same chemical response. Which makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't surprise me at all. That stuff's
really rewires you.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's such hard work to do the deconstruction, to do the like helping yourself see things the way they are, because you're not just like, oh, well, that was wrong and now I can know what's true. It's like you're dealing with like the entire underlayments of like highway infrastructure in there, right? So it's like the roads to get to all the places are these not real things, So there's a lot of digging, right? You got to relay those roadways entirely.
A lot of the MLMs they cross over into Christianity. Is that on purpose?
Oh yes.
Amway. Oh, their conferences. It's like an entire sermon, like megachurch sermon. Yeah, it's very much integrated into that culture.
So by MLM, you mean multi-level marketing, right?
Multi-level marketing. They have like a pyramid scheme. And Amway is kind of the Mac Daddy of that. And that's the one that I got.
Yeah. That's the OG, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And like the
I say the same about the military too. It's a very Christian organization. They say it's not, but sometimes we would stand in our morning formation, and they would start with a fucking prayer.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's for real. Boy Scouts too. When I was in Boy Scouts, it was very Christian.
Very.
Well, the Boy Scouts, my understanding, is actually a Christian organization.
Yeah.
I thought it was formed by the U.S. government.
I thought it was a Christian organization.
Oh,
Christian.
I got to do some
Both
research.
could be true.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure.
You're right. It could be both.
That is good. Let's see.
That wall's always been a bit full of
Pretty
holes.
thin.
Anyway.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, it says while the Boy Scouts of America emphasizes duty to God, it's a non-sectarian organization. That's what it says,
Interesting.
according to Searchlight.
Okay.
But I mean, I've always associated it with Christianity. It's they've got prayers. Even this thing here talks about, despite its emphasis, it emphasizes the duty to God.
Yeah, that
Right.
there.
Oh, yeah.
You need to know.
I know, I'm trying,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, they're all connected. Yeah.
I feel like the JWs are also that MLM style, where the people are the commodity. Really,
Mhm.
the time is their time is what pays the organization. Everything you sink into it makes money for them some way, somehow.
Right.
Mm.
Was there a strong culture in Armstrong's church to tithe? Was there shame on people who didn't?
I will let Kat answer that. Go ahead, hon.
I don't know if you could really get away with not tithing if you were in that
Oh,
church.
wow.
And it wasn't
Really?
just a 10%. There was the
Really?
10% yearly, which you just needed to send right into headquarters. Then there was a second tithe, which you were supposed to keep yourself. And the idea for that was you would spend, so I mean, tithe, I don't know how you want to classify it, but that's what they called it. You would spend that 10% for your family to go to the fall festival, the Feast of Tabernacles, which they made a big like destination thing. You know, the rich people would go to Palm Springs, and you'd go on little like day cruises and do all kinds of fun things and like live the life of the world tomorrow for that week with your 10% of your income from that year that you were supposed to do that. Now, could most families do that? Of course not. And so then they felt bad. Either you had money and you could go live extravagantly, or you showed up supposed to live extravagantly and you couldn't. So you knew that you were like lesser in God's whatever. But then every few years you would have to do a third 10% tithe that was intended to be the tithe you would give that would go to help poor people in the church. Did it? I don't actually know. I'm sure occasionally, so they would have token stories. But so in any given year, you could be doing up to 30% of your income, because they also had special gifts and offerings, you know, so they'd pass the plate on high holy days, but not on a regular Saturday. Oh yeah, because we went to church on Saturday also. So what that meant is also they were expecting the end of the world. So you don't need to save for college for your kids. You don't need to save for retirement. You don't need any of those things because Jesus is fucking coming back soon, right? So that
I've been saying.
causes some issues.
Sorry.
Well, but then it has an effect on generations, you know, because it disrupts that flow. That
And
would
to
have
give you an image here, if you were to look up Herbert W. Armstrong, he's still all over the news. He had like this celebrity status. He called it Worldwide Church of God. It started out as Radio Church of God because he was like an early pioneer of broadcasting, just like the JWs. It's the JWs that have the Watchtower, correct?
They have JW Broadcasting.
Yeah. And I feel like Armstrong just took everything from that and from the Seventh-day Adventists, and he created the Plain Truth magazine, full and complete color, and he gives it free to people, especially during the Great Depression. Who doesn't like during the Great Depression? He's giving it away for free. So he must not be lying to us. We can trust this guy, right?
Right.
That's how he built his empire, was by giving free shit to everyone and promising them this luxurious world tomorrow. That was his whole concept. Meanwhile, he's flying 2 private jets. He's going around the world. Hi, Darante. And he's got all the things. He's world leaders all over the place. Sorry. Hi, Darante. How are you?
Hello.
And that giving
man.
things away for free is like just a tax incentive. Like that has
Oh yeah.
it's not because they're good
Armstrong
people.
was a failed advertising man. I fully believe that a lot of these preachers, these pastors, like they failed in business. They had no creativity. They had no work of their own. And so they took the work of other men, the Bible, and they rolled with it. They're like, I can use this as a tool to gain followers and money coming in. This is fucking genius. And that is exactly what Armstrong did.
And isn't it genius? Free pamphlets for 30% of someone's income for the rest of their life?
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Somebody's giving you something for free. You are the product.
Mm,
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, looking at you, Facebook.
Yep.
That's important.
Right? Yeah. That's right. All these social medias. Welcome, Darante.
Hello. Hello. Glad to be here.
I'll see your name.
Now, I'm just kind of figuring, welcome to the show. I hope you had a great evening. I hope you had a great week. I'm just suspecting, though, you probably didn't have time to do a scripture with Darante, but if you did, I am prepared to hit the button. But if you didn't,
I got one.
Oh,
okay. Oh, wow. This is a man of productivity right here.
I'll tell you what.
He really is. He really is.
That's all to
All right,
shame,
so
Darante.
I know you just got making it easy on him. I know you just got here, but we're going to run our second Wild Bill commercial, and when we come back, we're going to do theocracy, or not theocracy, scripture with Darante.
Yay.
Cool
And,
beans.
all right, here we go. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. Finally, I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and this is my trusty sidekick, Willie the Kid. And we'll be your handsome hosts, your gilded guide, your cowboys, concierges to Shakespeare. Oh, how cute. Wait, is that at 2, Ollie? Run along, little doggy. Bill, where the hell have you been? Well, you know, I've been roaming the earth, going back and forth upon it, to and fro and whatnot. Ah, I like to travel too. Wait a second. Yep, back and forth upon earth, doing unto others before they do unto me. Bill, are you quoting the Bible? Trying to quote the Bible? Indeed I am. Despite my appearance, I am a man of culture and know many things, not just Shakespeare. Really? So you have a Shakespeare monologue related to atheism or skepticism? Indeed I do. Bear witness. Oh, this is going to be good. This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the product of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherous by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence. And all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of whoremaster man to lay his goatish disposition to the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Wow, that really is spot on about what we cover here on the channel, about how, people... So here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, this non-believer, ignores the teachings of his learned father and ends up getting 4 people killed. Bill, that's not... Okay. Carry on. Shakespeare was a heathenistic non-believer bound for the fiery pits of hell, just like yourselves. I don't think. And in order to throw the murderous church of the time off his heathen trail, he writes the skeptic as a sneaking, lying, adulterated father and brother, hating and betraying villain who ends up getting his comeuppance in the end. Bill, oh, come on, man. You're always blah, blah, Bible stuff, blah, blah, boring. You got to spice things up. Bill, tacos are spicy. Everybody loves tacos. Bill, tacos and boobies. Okay, you're not wrong there either. Tasty and delicious culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid the storm of familial discontent. Blow winds and clap your cheeks by clicking that subscribe button and hitting that. Wait a second. Don't you mean crack your cheeks? Nope. Bill. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Peace.
And we're back. We are back from another commercial. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now that we're back, we're going to take just a moment, breathe. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to a scripture with Darante. He's going to enlighten us on whether it's holy or horrific. And when he's done, we'll talk about it. You're on the show.
All right, folks, we are back with scripture of the day. And today we're going to be looking at the book of Mark, chapter 4, verses 10 through 12. It says, when he was alone, the 12 and the others around him asked him about the parables. He told them, the secret of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to those on the outside, everything is said in parables, so that they may be ever seeing, but never perceiving, and ever hearing, but never understanding. Otherwise, they might turn and be forgiven. Let's pause right there. Jesus just said he speaks in parables not to reveal truth, but to hide it, so people don't understand, so they won't repent, so they won't be forgiven. Read that again. He didn't say I use stories so everyone can grasp it. He said I use riddles so only my insiders get it. The rest, let them stay confused. Imagine that. Jesus, the supposed savior of all humanity, intentionally keeping people in the dark for the short period of time that he's actually with people. Not because they're wicked, not because they rejected him, but because they weren't chosen to get the secret code. And this isn't just Mark. Matthew 13 says the same thing. Luke 8 echoes it. Jesus says it directly. He speaks in parables to fulfill prophecy, not to enlighten the masses, but to exclude them. So while churches are out here saying Jesus loves you and wants you to be saved, Jesus himself said, actually, I'm hiding the truth from most of y'all on purpose. This isn't grace, it's gatekeeping. It's insider privilege masked as divine wisdom. So here's the takeaway. If your Savior admits that he speaks in code to make sure people stay blind, deaf, and unforgiven, maybe it's not your heart that's hardened. Maybe it's the story that's broken. And that'll be all for today's scripture with Darante, folks.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now that kind of seems to be a recurring theme. I never knew that. I had always thought there was a different reason. I did not know the reason why he said to speak in parables so other people won't understand. Now that's the thing that, I'll tell you what, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create us a religion. That's one of the things we got to put in there. We got to put in there that, listen, man, people outside of the faith won't understand. They'll call us fools. Just write that down. Write that down.
But once they get the spirit, then they can understand it.
That's right.
But we let them know when they've got the spirit.
And then Paul literally says that, like he says, God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. And when you actually think about the logic of that statement, there is none there. What he's literally saying is that what the fool says is actually the wise thing. So forget what the wise people are saying. You don't get it because you're not foolish enough to be wise. What kind of bullshit is that? Like that.
I like the highly uneducated is what he's saying.
There's a long
Highly uneducated.
with those mystery religions, just always making it, secretive, and you have to be on the inside. Did JWs do Same thing. You don't understand until you get on the inside, and then all the coding starts to become revealed to you.
And then notice that the people in the motivational racket are using the same type of thing. You know, remember what was that big book that was out? What was it called? The Secret. That's this whole idea that there's this secret that you don't know. You got to manifest it. You got to get on the right frequency. You got to be in the right vibe. That's why you're not hearing it. And it's all just, you know, it's the afterbirth of religion, because people have realized. And I mean, like, movies have shown us this. I think that was wasn't that the whole plot behind Kung Fu Panda? Is that there is no secret. It's you. Like, you're the gift. That's the whole thing. And that's really what religion has done, is convinced us that there's this other thing out there. And if you find the secret, then you have this mystery shortcut to how to succeed in life.
Stuff like that scripture, though, it makes me think that it is very easy for it to be like, oh yeah, no, I mean I know what they're saying. Don't you?
Oh, you know, that's it's so like good. That. Yeah.
Like I'm safe.
That's right, because you don't want to be on the outside. That's right. So yeah, I get it. I know exactly what he's saying. Sure, that makes sense. That's good stuff. Right.
You know, we got a super chat. Actually, we got a couple of them here that have just, the show has been going by so fast. Thank you very much. Raven Lunatic said, why would you never see a church with Wi-Fi? They don't want to compete with an invisible power that actually works. Right?
I love that.
He also said another $5. Raven said, my Todd for the show may as well add a joke to go along with it. What did Cinderella do when she got to the ball? She gagged. So we saw this earlier during the thing, and we were laughing about it, but there was a commercial running. And we forgot to get back to that. Yeah, I want to say that. That's not safe in here.
I love a good ball gag.
That's right. And keep that, Nancy, keep that out. We're going to come back to that just one second. And then Raven just now said, how do a group of theists change a light bulb? They don't change it. They sit in the dark and try to convince everyone else that the light is still on.
Dang. That's good.
All right. So, Nancy, would you mind talking to us about your vagina?
Oh, look how beautiful it is. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, thank you.
Your vagina is beautiful.
I'm so happy to show you. That's hilarious. Actually, Ryan, on a show here not long ago, you were telling Darante and Chris about my vagina and how I revealed it on our channel. And you didn't clarify what it was.
That wasn't intentional at all.
Yeah, sure. But no, this is my new prop, courtesy of Kitty the Atheist. Shout out Kitty the Atheist. She does have a channel. We met her at Free Flow, and during the Stitchin' Bitch, this is what she made. This beautiful vagina.
Oh, Stitchin' Bitch. That sounds fun.
I told her how much I liked it, and she just gave it to me as a gift. So, yeah.
That's a pretty pussy. I like it.
I
like
it. It really is.
Yeah.
You play with it often?
Yeah. And, we have the boobs, of course. I've had this guy, this gal.
Oh, there they are. Hey, Justin's nice. Surrounded by boobs.
I'm here for it.
There you go. You never know what you get when you come on this channel. Thank you, Texas Panhandler donated $5 and said, hello from Justin's Discord friends. This has been a wild show. Tons of fun. Well, thank you very much.
Good to hear from you, Texas.
Yes, Lost Explorer's Guide. The JJs do have eyes. See?
Ooh.
Now you know.
Yes. But not teeth.
Oh, man. Is there an approved cleaning regimen for your vagina? Can you just throw it right in the washer?
Right in the washer.
I simply keep it away from Chris and Darante, and it's fine.
Yeah. It'd be okay. Yeah.
It will never become soiled.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
If it comes near me, there's going to be some penetration. I'm telling you. There's a hole. Got to check it out.
Just to walk around.
I stuck my penis in things I wouldn't stick my fingers.
Right?
Well, that makes you a better man than the majority of men in the Bible, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
But it does explain my awkward walk.
Take a ride in my truck. We'll smooth that right out.
Whenever you're lonely, do you go around locking your truck. Is that how that works? I misunderstood.
Oh man.
The JJs with eyes look at Minnie with teeth. Oh no, Nitty, $10. Says the JJs with eyes look at Minnie with eyes of disapproval. Oh, I would imagine. Yeah, imagine how sad those eyes would be half the time. They're like, you're done. Where are you going?
That's
Where
it.
Where are you going?
Oh. There's room for 5 of you in here.
No, we definitely,
Justin.
we definitely have fun on our channel. We tend to push the bar, and I don't know if that's because we're ex-cult babies and we're just, we were silenced for so long that we're like, we don't give a shit what comes out of our mouth. Now we're just like,
I love it.
what are people gonna do? Scare us, intimidate us, judge us?
Come on.
And they're done that. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Get less of that now.
Thank you. Oh my
Yes.
God.
I love that. I love
We
that.
have heard over and over that it was the more culty, more extreme Christian girls that were the freakiest. So that's what men keep telling us.
I can testify to that.
My experience
I can,
as well.
speak to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we're saying there seems to be this inverse
just gonna put it
thing
down.
relationship.
Gonna mark that one as
Something to study.
Durante, I remember when you told the story about how you turned down a blowjob, a lifetime of blowjobs, actually. Like, that's just not right.
Yes. I guess, man.
For God, man.
You know,
for
the
God.
things I did for the Lord. Hallelujah.
That should have bought you eternity, even if you've turned your back. You
It
know,
should've.
like it
Well,
should have.
To add a little caveat to this, I was also very traumatized by the fact that in 9th grade, I had a threesome in a Bible study room. And so I felt like I owed God for that one. It's just like I took it too far, shouldn't have done that, you know, so I can't do this stuff anymore, you know. And so then like I became very traumatized by my sexualized activity. And so every time I did slip up and do something sexually sinful, it's like I had to punish myself, you know, and I'd always feel incredibly horrible after it, sometimes for months on a time.
That's a kink in itself.
It is a kink, isn't it? I think it worked. I think there was a lot of beating my meat during that depression time too. Like, I think it worked out. It worked out.
You're sitting there thinking, you know what? I think I want to feel bad about myself today.
Oh man.
We're
Guilt and
talking love.
repent is the worst, though, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Vicious.
Oh my
Jump right
goodness.
back in. You finally feel
man.
better, and you're like, well, time to dip my toe in the water.
Oh
Brian, can
man.
you remind me, did you also fall into purity culture? Like Patty and I, you know, got stuck into evangelicalism. So we got the same sort of messaging. However, we reacted to it differently. I was just curious what your story was.
Oh gosh, yeah, the JWs are entrenched in purity culture, but it was so bad for my mind because, you know, you just naturally have these feelings and you're wrong for having, because they tell you if you think about the sin,
Yes.
you've sinned. And I
thought,
didn't realize that, you know, this was a time when I didn't know that you talk to yourself exactly. And because I wasn't really widely known or at least discussed in the JW. So I didn't know if I was hearing myself or I was having bad influences tell me to do these things. And, you know, I'm just listening to my body, really. That's all that's happening. But I'm so unaware of myself because of how I've been destroyed my brain. So
how much is conditioning you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But there was years where I just would have sex and feel so guilty, just really just terrible about it for an orgasm. Like, come on, that's supposed to be a party. What the hell?
It's supposed to, man.
It's not
a
right.
blowjob in your mouth, you know, like.
Raven Lunatic says, what's the difference between Chris and an egg? An egg gets laid. I want to tell you, brother, I have had more ass than you have sat on.
Hey, I love that. I am using that one. That's going in the
There
book.
you go.
Damn, that's good.
I didn't come up with it. I stole it. I ain't sharing it. I'll tell you, that's the truth.
Book of inspirational quotes, Darante.
I know it, right? I've had more ass than you sat on. Oh man, I love that.
I stole it from Farscape. I
think you missed it a few episodes ago, but you were talking about God's anus in the episode, and I put in the comments, I was like, God's anus and other bedtime stories by DaranteLaMar.
Please. Bedtime story.
I'll do it. Don't tempt me.
You know, Justin, since this is your first time on the show, I just want to mention therapists are standing by. You need help. I
mean, I used to hang out with Christian girls, so this is I'm pretty used to XXX rated conversations.
Oh, yes. Really? Okay.
The girls that are really deep in the church, they have to, like, it's pent up. They have to suppress it, and then when it comes out, it all comes out. It gets crazy. And even like when I started debating on TikTok, I would get messages from Christian girls watching the chat, just like spilling their guts, like, oh, I've got, I'm watching your channel and I can't contain myself and I feel guilty. I shouldn't feel this way, but just everything. It's crazy. Yeah.
Raven does that in my chat, but he's a 6'2" Australian man.
Justin, you absolute stud. Good. That's one way to turn them.
It is. Bring them to the Lord via the happy button. Good man.
I guess that's the date to unsave method. You guys heard about the date to save?
Yes. Yes. Jesus booty.
Reverse Uno.
There's a lot of evangelical booty out there, man. There is. They're saving souls.
Patty had the opposite. She went to church, I think, because of a cute guy, and then she realized later on, like, oh, I have a really bad taste in men.
I landed one that stuck around, and that one's working out okay. But it's true. I did go church to church following boys.
Oh, church guys.
And every other woman in the church thought it was God trying to set them up with this same dude. Amazing how that works, huh?
Yes.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Why? Because Weebro says Adrian Belgrave had a question for Justin. Okay, Adrian Belgrave. Let me go back here. Thank you for that. The chat moveth fast. Deconstruction Zone at your age, what was the straw that broke the camel's back for you when it came to being an atheist? Was there a moment, or was it a death by 1,000 cuts?
It's kind of a little bit of both. I think the moment for me that I came to the realization that Christianity wasn't, like, it just can't hold up, other than like the textual criticism and the contradictions and stuff, was realizing that if you are really reading the prophecies intently, it turns out Jesus didn't fulfill even one prophecy. And the ones that he claims to have fulfilled, like they're just out of context quotations from the Old Testament. And like, I could do the same thing. In fact, I've got a whole sheet full of prophecies out of context that I could say I fulfilled.
Yes.
Because if you're just ignoring the context, who cares? It could be about anything. Yeah. And so that to me was a big issue. I talk about the prophecies a lot. The other thing, I think even after I left Christianity, I was kind of agnostic. I kind of believed in a God still. I think the thing that took me out of that was studying cosmology, because cosmology doesn't match with what we think of like an afterlife would be like. Because if there's a heaven, if there's a spirit realm, it has to exist somewhere. Like, it has to exist physically somewhere. And if it's in our solar system, well, guess what? It's not going to be there forever, because our solar system is going to get destroyed when our galaxy collides with the Andromeda, or when the universe dies in a heat death, or when it recollapses on itself. Like, whatever is wherever or whatever it is, it's not going to exist one day. Yeah. So I was like, it wouldn't make sense that there would be a spirit realm that's just going to get annihilated, like the physical realm is going to get annihilated. So it's like, why am I thinking that this thing exists when there's no evidence of it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was a really good way of putting that. Yes, I love it.
We've got a couple of new chatters in the chat. Sorry if I've missed some of you. I want to mention that we have someone named Deconstructed Combat Veteran who says, how do you deconstruct from going to a Catholic private school from K through 12, then directly to 10 years in the military deployment to Iraq, and then to 20 years of Christian teachings of 20 years? Yeah, I mean, slowly, yeah.
Slowly.
That's a question.
You know, for me, it was reading the Bible and studying the academic resources. You'd be surprised how we'll call it agnostic the academics are. Like you would think that if you go to a seminary or a place of higher education that everyone's like sold out for Jesus, but the reality is a lot of these seminary professors don't really believe Christianity the way they do in the church. And to them, they're just like agnostic God believers that chose Christianity to be their expression of their religion.
Yep.
And like I had an Old Testament professor who was just honest on the book of Daniel, was just like Daniel was written in the 2nd century. Here's all the evidence for it. These prophecies are about Antiochus Epiphanes. This is how we know it. And like that just right there destroys the New Testament. Jesus believed that he was a fulfillment of Daniel chapter 9 and Daniel chapter 7. And if they're not even prophecies, and they're certainly not prophecies about Jesus's time period, that means Jesus was wrong. And if Jesus was wrong, the dude's just a goof.
Yep. Right. And interestingly enough, there's a similar phenomenon among urban and charismatic pastors that many of them are agnostic. Even without having the academic side, it's because of the experience. After preaching for 10, 20 years, praying for people, expecting things to happen, if you believe that this stuff is really going to happen, then you're expecting it to. That expectation is going to breed disappointment. And then you have to make a choice one day. What do you do with that disappointment? And so this is one of the reasons why many urban ministers do not go to seminary, because they don't want to feed that disappointment any further. So what they decide to do is to agnostically just take it all on faith, and I'll just keep preaching the best I can, and hopefully this God thing will figure itself out one day. Many pastors are agnostic in that way.
Yeah, that's my experience too. I know a lot of pastors that are agnostic that are just in it, and they're like, well, maybe I can use this for good. Like I can use this religious devotion of my church members and steer it in a way that I think is healthy.
Yep.
Even though I don't really fully believe it, it's still a tool that's useful.
Yep. That's what kept me in for so long. It was until I got my degree in sociology where I realized, oh, this isn't helpful. I had already came to the conclusion that it's not true, but I was like, we'll figure it out one day and I'll just still help people. But then getting my first degree, it was just like, oh, but this actually isn't helping people. I've convinced myself that I'm helping people. This is actually harming their agency, and I need to stop.
Yeah, get real.
Louder.
I want to take a moment to say thank you to Adam Icky,
Yes, thank
Roman, for gifting 5 of the Daily Atheist Morning Show memberships. Appreciate it.
Mine
Thank you
doesn't
very
do
much.
hearts, but
Yeah, big deal.
Mine doesn't
it's like
either.
a gang sign when I do it. Like, is that
I like that.
is my camera
right.
being racist? Is it making me throw up gang signs?
So thank you very much for that.
Yours did it too.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
there's
How does that work?
You're right. Like,
I
I
I don't
want
know
in.
hearts.
It's my Chrome browser does it for some reason.
Oh, is that what does it? I haven't
Yeah.
been able to figure out what I have running.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
do 2 of these, you get lasers.
Oh, I
No
haven't done
way.
that.
But how are you using your
I think
Chrome
this one's my
browser?
fave usually.
Yeah, the fireworks.
Because that's the I don't know. It has.
I think it's sexist. It only works for women.
I really don't know. To be honest.
Finally, you have an advantage. Daran.
Right?
I keep moving it down, but it don't.
It's not working.
So, Justin, normally when you do your shows, they're kind of, I want to say a little on the more serious side. Are you okay? We had a lot coming at you this morning. I just,
I was waiting for the punch. I was like, yeah, they are serious.
I just want to,
He's actually he can handle everyone else
the
here.
fun
Yeah.
show. Yeah, we're a nice. You're just so used to more serious environments. I just want to make sure that after the
True.
show's over, you're not going to be over there crying, rocking back and forth in the fetal position.
Well,
They are
it's
similar.
hard knowing that I'm doomed to hell and I'm going to burn forever. But I try to keep a good face in light
Yeah.
of that, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just suppressing the truth and unrighteousness, and I know deep down inside that I'm doing that. So it takes a little bit of work to get through it.
Yes.
And you
Also-
hate God, of course.
Obviously, I hate God, but Ryan, I love your shirt, but I have one problem, which is I can't look at your shirt without thinking of the Song of Solomon, where they're complaining of our little sister is like a wall, and they're
Oh
concerned
yes, because he's flat.
because she's flat-chested.
Really?
What's going to happen when they come for her? She's like a wall.
Really?
Itty bitty titty committee, man. Like the Bible's not a fan of itty bitty titties.
There's some beautiful.
No.
I gotta write this down. What scripture is that? Where's our boobies? It's about time to get to boobies.
Get him up there.
It's in go to the Song of Solomon. And we're going to go to chapter 5 or chapter 7. There you go. Chapter 8, actually. I apologize. Chapter 8. They're talking about their little sister. It says, we have a little sister and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister on the day that she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build. This is where it gets good, Ryan. If she is a wall, this is what it says. If she is a wall, we will build upon her a battlement of silver. So they're building on the wall. That's what they're building up the breasts.
They're just going to
armor.
She's getting a boob job? Is this a biblical boob job?
Like a silver chest plate that has boobs in it.
She's gonna get gear to prop them, to
What? Or so much silver jewelry that it hangs around like Mr. T. And covers.
That's gonna be really uncomfortable to motorboat them things, boy. Like, yikes.
Some physical adornments.
Oh man! Build that wall.
If you can't make it, fake it.
Yeah.
Build the wall. Build the wall. That's
Build tits on the wall. Build tits on the wall.
Even better.
I love it.
And the wall will be fun to at least look at.
Oh
The
man!
more I learn about the
a wall
Bible.
of titties. Yes.
Oh, that's like a rock climbing wall, like climbing the titties.
Bible's never boring.
Right.
You ever seen those? I think it was in New York City. They had, when kids are playing in the whatever the fuck you call it. I don't have kids. The little jump thing where they're jumping around in the backyard. Like
Trampoline?
Trampoline?
No.
a trampoline.
Oh no, like hops.
Oh, the bouncy house.
Johnny Jump.
Bouncy house. Yes.
Oh. Yes.
City one. I saw one that was all boobs inside. Like boobs. And go in and jump around on all
titties.
Squishy boobs.
Wow, that's a great place to soak.
Epic.
Oh my goodness.
Just bounce me around so I can get it in.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness, you folk ain't right. That's why you're going to hell, right there. I mean,
No, Chris, it's not hell. It's the lake of fire. We get trolls from our cult, and it's the lake of fire, which I think is a really cool name for like a nightclub.
I'd like to go there.
or
I go to Lake of Fire.
And it's so like,
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Remember to wear your Pharaoh sombrero condom.
Ah.
Put on a wrapper before hitting that crapper. I'm just saying.
Oh man.
That's right. That's right. We haven't done that one. That's the only one I think we haven't done. I'll probably do that. It's getting close to the end of the show. What I'll do is I'll run the Pharaoh sombrero commercial for those people who like that one. That's the only one I didn't send you, Justin. That's kind of complicated. Well,
I don't think I got any of them actually. We got to talk about that link later.
no worries.
Hot dog.
Gotcha.
I think it was a broken link, but don't worry, we'll get there.
Okay, gotcha. I break links. That's what I do.
Broken wiener.
I ain't broke no wieners. I've been yanking on mine for damn near 50 years. I ain't pulled it off yet. They are attached. This one is anyway. I don't know. All right. So, Pharaoh's Curse. Yeah, we'll be back right after the Pharaoh.
Mi burrito es tan bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
I think that she probably was more into the Pharaoh because he was probably hot, and her husband
yeah.
was like,
I would have
crusty.
definitely stayed with the Pharaoh.
Oh yeah, she was.
I think
Why would, honestly, that's like a step down to go back to Abraham. Like, are
Oh,
you
it's a
kidding me?
major step down. Oh
Can you
man,
imagine how disappointed she would have been?
I gotta go back. I gotta go back.
maybe she appreciated if that Pharaoh looked anything like Yul Brynner and in Ten Commandments.
Oh shit, huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Pharaoh's palace or tent in the desert, Pharaoh?
You know, like
This is actually a really interesting
Ladies in
twist.
waiting.
that is.
Or sheep.
So scholars assume that the Sarah being kidnapped and taken to the harem is just a doublet, right? Because it happens to Abimelech, it happens to Pharaoh.
Yes.
What if it's not a doublet and it's actually an underlying issue where Sarah's unhappy with Abraham and wants to get some side action is why it keeps happening. And it explains why when Abraham wants to have a child, Sarah's like, bang my handmaid, leave me
There you go.
alone.
Leave me alone. Yes. Come on
I
now.
get some of that Abimelech action.
This is my type of soap opera.
That's awesome. What about, I mean, maybe she had a talk with Rebecca and she's like, listen, man, if Abraham's son is not helping you out, maybe you should have him whore you out for coin, cattle, and slaves. Because
That's right.
didn't Abraham's son's wife do the same thing?
Same thing.
So Abimelech did the same thing to Isaac and Rebecca. Almost, he was stopped beforehand. He was just looking from a distance.
That's right.
But like, you're right. There's probably a conversation with Abraham's. Listen, if you can't find a spatula in the kitchen, go find the king of Gerar, and he'll hook you up.
Oh. One of the things that I thought was particularly interesting about the story in Genesis 12 is that whenever he does give Sarai at this point, Sarai back to Abraham, he tells him to go and keep all your shit, right? Because that's what you do when somebody gave you the cooties. You don't want anything back. But it always talks about it as though Abraham got everything.
Mm-hmm.
So Abraham was literally a pimp. The father of the Abrahamic religion pimped out his wife to the Pharaoh of Egypt for coin, cattle, and slaves, and she didn't even get any of it. She got to walk sad-faced back to the tent and didn't get anything. He got all the coin and everything. He left her. Matter of fact, he left so wealthy that he and his nephew Lot, their tribes could no longer go together.
They couldn't live together.
They were so wealthy.
Because they
from all
got
the things,
so much from that's.
And keep
that
in
must
mind,
have been some hella pussy.
they went to Egypt to avoid the famine, right? So God is in charge of the famines, which means God helped Abraham pimp her out because he sent the famine. He's in control of the weather.
He directed them there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
That's also kind of like the story with Lot. Now the story of Lot and his daughters, they're like, well, that's just Lot being bad. No, God condoned that. They had sex with him allegedly once each time. Then they got pregnant. It tells you earlier. Is it earlier in the story? Whenever Sarah, or is it later? I think it's one of the Sarah is trying to have a baby, and essentially God lets them know you don't have a baby without his consent.
Right.
So that
the Lord opens and closes the womb.
That's right.
There you go. So he consented twice. Now, one of the greatest rewards in the Old Testament is, correct me again if I'm wrong, is to be the father of nations. Lot's incestuous children, through his own daughters, go on each to become fathers of nations. Therefore, not only was it condoned by God, but it was one of the best blessings those daughters could have gotten for their children. So it's a horrific, not only is it a horrific example, but it shows you that based on Old Testament ways of thinking, these were rewards.
Oh, yes.
It's true.
That's what I do. I drink coffee and no stuff.
Following the steps.
Yep.
Man. I saw some questions in the chat about hell. Someone asked, how did I get over fear of hell? That one was easy for me. I didn't, I never had a fear of hell. It never came because it never made sense. People overplayed their hand with hell. They kept lying. So few things that I stopped believing in very early was a God who killed. Because I grew up in the churches that they said, you know, if a kid crosses the pulpit, God will kill him. If a woman gets in the pulpit, God will kill him. If you take communion unworthy, God will kill you. And I saw all these people doing these things and nobody was dying. So my conclusion was that people had a misunderstanding of God, you know. So when it came to hell, in the 80s, there were these people, 80s and early 90s, there was all these people claiming to have proof of hell, that people were digging oil in China and heard the screams of people in hell. And then stuff like that became easily unverifiable, easily, you know, like, no, this isn't true. So to me, the more a person feels the need to lie about something, when a person starts faking evidence, that suggests two things. Number one, that they know there is no evidence. And number two, that they know people won't check their evidence. And so that was a slippery slope for me. So I never got that fear. I never got the fear of hell. And hell just doesn't sound scary if God is the one managing it. Because God created heaven. It was a perfect place. War broke out way before humans got there. Humans had nothing to do with it. War broke out in heaven under God's watch. God created heaven, Eden, supposed to be perfect. Guess what happened? He had to kick the people out week damn one. Guess what? We're all going to go to heaven one day. Guess what's going to happen in heaven? Another fucking war is going to break out. And so, like, honestly, if hell is the place that God is not, that's probably the safest place to be, because everywhere he is falling fucking apart.
Yes.
Well, you know, I hate to do this. We've had a wonderful show. Justin's got to go do that voodoo that he does somewhere else. So, man, I appreciate you, Justin. Thank you. I want to get on your show and try not to derail it with comedy.
We'll absolutely. We'll set up a time. But I really do appreciate you guys having me on, and I was really happy to be graced on the screen by the Apostate Sisters.
Yes.
So
Nice to meet you, Justin.
it was a great group party. Let's make sure and reconvene. And I want to get on your channel, and I want you guys on my channel. And same thing with Rion, Darante, and Chris. We've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yes.
It's been a lot of
Same,
fun.
Justin.
Thank
We'd
you very
love
much.
to have you on our channel. Ryan, also, we're going to be scheduling you soon. Durante, we'll way back with you. And Chris, your interview is coming out next week. Patty, which day? Tuesday, maybe?
Tuesday after next.
Awesome. Okay.
Yay.
Next. Okay.
Wait.
And then Patty and I also have a live stream this evening, which I think is at 8 p.m. Correct, Pat?
8 p.m. Central. Yep.
We'll be roasting.
There's a link in the top of the chat for that, by the way. It's been there the whole time. Yeah.
We allude to this guy a lot, this David C. Pack of Restored Church of God. He's like an offshoot of our cult, and he's kind of worse. So we're going to go for him tonight.
Love
Get
that.
'em.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, get him.
Thank you, Justin. I know you got to go, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so
Good to
much.
see you guys.
Great
Have
to
a great
see you.
one.
Can't wait to catch up.
You know, we've run a little long. Durante's probably got to skip out because he's got to work, and all these other people are doing things. I'm going to let them go and say byes to them, and then once they're gone, I will go ahead and read out our super chats for the day. And and then we'll see you guys tomorrow for anybody who shows up for Sci-Fi Saturday.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Ryan.
Love you.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Great show.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye,
All
Darante.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
right, I'm dipping too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies. Thank you very much. You're going to stay for the Super Chats or are you out?
I'm out. See ya.
Oh, no, you got to go. It's only a couple hours.
All right,
No worries.
I gotta go too. I won't be a Lone Ranger here. Bye, Chris. Good to see you.
Bye. Yes,
Yes,
you guys are wonderful. Thank you very much.
you are too.
All right. So for our Super Chats, we have Marduk for $4.99 said, awesome panel. Praise Doug. Thank you, Doug. Raven Lunatic gifted 10 memberships to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Thank you for that. Raven gave $5 and said, why would you never see a church with Wi-Fi? They don't want to compete with an invisible power that actually works. I wonder if they do have Wi-Fi in churches. I wonder if they have them now, how that works. If you can just connect to the church's Wi-Fi instead of using, I don't know. Good question. For $5, Raven said, why did they make early wineskins out of foreskins? If you rub it the right way, 2-liter cask becomes a 4-liter cask. Were you going to say something, Miss Nancy?
No, I remember reading that and it cracked me up. It's so good.
Yeah.
Foreskin.
Foreskin. And then for $5, Raven said, my tithe for the show may as well add a joke to go along with it. What did Cinderella do when she got to the ball? She gagged. I know. There's bound to be a good little porn about that one somewhere.
Again, if you have one of these, you won't gag. I'm just saying.
You won't need. That's right. There you go. You should sell those. An easy cleanup version.
This too. Yeah, an easy cleanup version. People ask all the time about where we get the boobs. Let me find out the brand. This is just at my local shop down the street for a few bucks, but let me see if we can actually sell these through some merch or something. All right,
that would be cool, huh? Yeah,
that would be fun. Some movies.
And for another $5, Raven said, how do a group of theists change a light bulb? They don't change it. They just sit in the dark and try to convince everyone else the light is still on. That's very true, Raven. Thank you. For $5, Texas Panhandler said, hello from Justin's Discord friends. This has been a wild show. Tons of fun. Come back. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be back next week, Monday through Friday. We don't stream on Sundays. That's the day of the Lord. We don't stream on the day of the Lord.
No, it's Saturday, Chris. Don't you know? Why did I go?
Depends on which Lord.
Saturday. Yeah, exactly. No, the true one. The true one with true followers. It's Saturday. Friday night.
Oh. I didn't. I'll have to catch up.
No, that was our cult.
There you go. That's right. That was your cult. But you can share. They insist. For $10, Nitty said, JJ's with eyes look at many with eyes of disapproval. Very true, Nitty. I understand that. Sad VJJ eyes. Adam Icky gifted 5 memberships to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Man, that's so helpful. It really helps the show. Some people actually go, you know what? This show isn't shit. And they decide to re-up in a month, and it helps. It really does. I appreciate you. And Raven Lunatic said, thank you, Justin, Patti, and Nancy for coming on the show. You were all fantastic.
Oh, thank you, love. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Great.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Nancy. You're wonderful. You're so sweet. You're so much fun. You're not as mean as Patti said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. She's the mean one. I'm sorry. She's the mean one. I forgot.
Maybe when you were growing up, but I don't blame her for that. She was far more indoctrinated.
Got you. You guys have fantastic hair, though. I just want you to say.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, see, you got both. It's like the same but different, and yeah, it's cool. And then Raven said, "Oh yeah, thank you for all that. Thank you, all you wonderful people. I appreciate you all. Nancy, have a wonderful weekend. You've got a stream tonight. There's a link up at the top of the show for their stream tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Go catch that stream. Be here for Sci-Fi Saturday tomorrow. We're going to talk about a very interesting show. You haven't heard of it. It's called the Sojourners something. I'm sorry for mispronouncing. Anyway, we're going to have that on, and then, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. I'll try to be in the comments as usual. Thank you, Chris.
Perfect.
Appreciate you very much.
All right. Thank you. Sin safe.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the gold candle, don't even think.